Hi guys, Squall here. Welcome to my first video on Stormworks. I'm going to take you through what Stormworks is, what it's not, talk about some things. I'm going to show you something I've built and what you have to do in the game. I mean, obviously when you look at the character, like the world's skinniest legs, he looks really derpy. You can customize the character how you want, but they all kind of look like this. They all kind of look really weirdly skinny and stuff, so don't be put off by that. The game's kind of blocky nature. There's a lot more to this game than you might think, particularly if you're into engineering or systems type stuff. There's a lot of fun in here. So what is Stormworks? In a nutshell, in Stormworks you have a load of missions that are generated by the game. Things like rescue missions, or putting fires out, or taking samples of something, scientific samples, or maybe moving an item from one place to another. There's a lot of stuff. There's different biomes in the world that you can go to. There's the normal biome that you start in. There's the Arctic biome, is about 100 kilometers north of here. At the moment we can't see very much, but we're in a kind of a stormy environment, hence the name Stormworks. The weather can get pretty bad, the fog can close in, the wind can pick up, the waves can get big, and all of these things present challenges to you as you try and do some of the missions. So speaking of missions, if we press the N key, it will show us that we have a mission currently to transfer specialist rig workers to an oil rig. So if we click on that to track it, it says that we have about an hour and a half. This is real time. You have a real one hour and a half to do this mission. There's 3 rig workers that need to be moved. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to go and get them. You pick them up from here and you transport them to here. And what that will do is it will give you some research points which you can use to unlock technology. You start off with a certain amount of money and some tech points for free, and essentially when you do missions you get money and you get research points. There are other ways to make money in the game, by moving fuel around, buying low, selling high, that kind of thing. And essentially what you're doing is you're creating vehicles to solve problems. You can create land vehicles, you can create sea vehicles, and you can create vehicles that fly in the air, helicopters, planes. You know, there's diesel engines in the game, electric motors in the game, jet engines in the game. There's all kinds of stuff. Let me start off by just showing you a boat that I've made here. Now this boat, I'll show you shortly how to create your own world and how to get access to this boat. This is my little starter boat that I will give to you guys via Steam Workshop so that you can use it to get going in Stormworks, and I'm also going to give you the hull, and then the next video I'll show you how we build this. So I'll show you all the system side of it briefly, because I don't want to scare you off, but equally I want you to understand that this game is not straightforward. There are aspects of this game that are quite tricky. This is the electrical subsystem, so this is me. The battery is down here and it comes through this circuit breaker relay here, and then that powers the systems. So if we throw that circuit breaker, all these systems get activated. This is the logic and data. The red is the switches, the greens are data. And what's going on here is, you know, the pilot seat, for example, when you press the hotkey 1, it will activate the gear switch on the gearbox at the back. So back here we have a diesel engine, and we have some fuel tanks, and we have a clutch, a couple of gearboxes, an electrical generator, and on the back there we have a couple of props and a rudder. You get the idea. You set up front. Up here you drive the vehicle, you can take passengers. So it's a very simplistic sort of passenger transport boat is what it is, and if I spawn it in you'll see what it looks like. So there you go. You can see the way the water mechanics work. It kind of bounces around and this kind of thing. If the weather is calm, pretty easy to drive. If the waves really get big, that'll really test your rescue services, shall we say. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create the world, and we'll do this mission together. First of all, what I want to do is I want to go to the research tree and just quickly show you some of the research. So down here is everything that's locked. All these items of research are currently locked, and all these down here, what we have to play with, this is what we've currently got unlocked. And you can get a sense of what's in the game by looking at these things. For example, you've got your normal blocks that you can make things with. You've got rudders, electrical connectors, fuel tanks, gearboxes, seats and pipe connections. What I want to do is just get the research working. There are lots of things you can go for. For example, 2 points to get basic logic will give us some AND gates, OR gates. So we can do basic computational stuff, yeah? We can look at numbers coming in from centers and say, well, if they're above this certain value, I want you to switch this thing on or off. This is where the logic system comes into it. This is the one I want to get initially, is sensors. Sensors are really useful. You've got on this one distance sensors and speed sensors. Now these things let you obviously see how fast a vehicle is going and how far you are away from something like the bottom of the water. So they're very useful. They take 40 minutes to get this, and it's 1 research point. So I'm going to say begin research. That will take 40 minutes to churn through, and then I'll have access to that stuff. And when we do this mission, we'll get some more research points that we can then spend, but that's for later. For now, I want to show you how to create your own world and how to get this boat in your game. Right, so here we are on the main menu of Stormworks. Now you can press this cog here, go through your settings, make the graphics look how you want, configure the audio. Maybe you want the environment noises to be a bit quieter. Trust me, you do, because the lightning in this can be extremely loud, quite terrifyingly loud in fact, so I suggest you turn that down. Controls, I'll just leave them as basic, and the rest of it I'd leave. So just the graphics really are what you need to worry about. Now, one thing you need to do is you need to create a new game. So click New Game over here, and you can have different world seeds that you can give to people. The game has a kind of fixed number of islands, but it also has some procedural generation going on. So you can share this number with other people, and they will get the same kind of map environment that you've got. Now, in terms of recommended settings, there's 2 ways to go really, creative or career. Creative basically means just that. You get all the components unlocked, infinite money, just go and play. Jump on any island you want, create any vehicle you want, just mess about and make things. That's great if you just want to create stuff. If you want to go career mode, that's a different style of gameplay. That's what you just saw, where you start off with limited money, limited research points, and you have to work your way through things. So, me, personally, I would recommend that you go to survival, not normal. And the reason I recommend survival is because you get mostly these boxes here. This is the main one, advanced vehicles. In the early days of this game, you can start off with non-advanced vehicles and just learn the game. I don't recommend that. I recommend that you tick this box straight away and learn the game from advanced. What that means is you have to deal with, as it says there, transmission pipes, fuel requirements, and engine mechanics. I will take you through this stuff. It's not that difficult, but I recommend you do it from the word go, because otherwise you'll have to learn it later. Vehicle and player damage, that means obviously you can hit things and blow up your vehicles. Player damage, you can die, in which case you'll respawn back at base, or your friends will rescue you if you play multiplayer. This does work in multiplayer, by the way. NPC damage, whether you want the people you're rescuing to be damaged by stuff, whether you want sharks that attack you. Megalodons I wouldn't recommend. Now these 2 are, if you want to go fully hardcore, turn them off. I recommend you leave them on for now. This will allow you to recover vehicles from anywhere on the map, so if you do drive your boat into a rock, blow up and die, you can still get the vehicle back via the map. Fast travel means literally that. You can teleport from one of your islands to another. For the more hardcore players, you would turn this off, but I recommend that you just leave them ticked. Permadeath, again, a hardcore option. Limited fuel, don't go with that initially. Do that when you want to up the more difficulty, because when you spawn a vehicle in, you won't have any fuel in it if you tick that box. It's good from one perspective, but from another it's not. It's actually annoying. Starting money, I kind of recommend that you just bump that up a little bit just to get you going in your first game. You know, maybe slide it more if you feel like it. In terms of the starting points, there are lots to choose from. Definitely stay away from the Arctic stuff if you're in career mode, because you will die, because you won't have access to heating. It's up to you where you want to go. Just be aware that, you know, some of these are air bases only, so you'll only be able to build air vehicles, and some of them are quite big. I would probably stay on the starter base initially. If you're feeling a little bit more adventurous, then you could perhaps go for something like Terminal Spy Cakes, if I can find it. This one, that's quite a good one. It has an airport nearby that you can buy. It has a big boatyard, and it has trains. Oh, did I mention trains? You can build trains in this game. Really good ones. For now, I would just say go with the starter base. This is up to you. If you want to just play with all the components, take this. But honestly, you'll get overwhelmed if you do that. This one you might want to take just so that you can go and have a look at all the islands. This one means you don't have to buy components. Because every time you put a component in the build, when you spawn a vehicle, everything in the vehicle costs money. Every component costs money. And it's charged to your account. If you put it on infinite stock, then when you spawn a vehicle in, there's no cost. Creative tools is exactly that. It just enables you to change the time of day and weather if you want to. I would start off by leaving these off and put the starter base on. With these options, you'll get, it will be difficult, but you'll be challenged and you should have some fun. Maybe go into creative mode just to make a vehicle. Just be aware if you make something in creative mode and try to spawn it in career mode and you don't have that item unlocked, you won't be able to spawn. Time of day, personally speaking, I like to have 4 AM to 10 PM as my daylight hours. Just have 6 hours of daylight. That's entirely up to you if you want to do that or not. And then this is if you basically want to go in the workshop and change the mod, like mod the actual environment. So you click confirm. That will then create your world. You'll then be presented with the option to customize your character, then click complete, and you'll be thrown into your starter base, which is what we saw at the beginning here. This is the starter base that I told you about. If you went for this, this is where you'll be. What this is a small island, and it has that little hut over here, and it's what they call a small boatyard. The reason it's small is it's limited in size, so you can't spawn vehicles that are too big, essentially. That's the size of the vehicle bay, basically. If you went from a different place, you might be able to get bigger vehicles. It's up to you. As I say, start small, learn the game, and then work up from there. Okay, let's have a look at how to get my vehicle into your game. Okay, so back in the main menu, maybe before you created your world and saved it, or just save it and come back to the main menu, if you click on the Stormworks link there, it will take you to the Steam Workshop page where you can find a lot of vehicles. Some very, very detailed vehicles have been made. Quite realistic looking ones, as you can see. This is the lengths that you can go to in this game. People have made SR-71 Blackbirds, they've made Osprey helicopters, there's VTOL capabilities that you can put in the game. Some of the trains you can get are super awesome. Ignore all that if you load those in, you'll be sat there wondering how to even drive the thing, let alone edit it. What you want to do is use my URL in the video description to come to my workshop file. So this is where I've posted a couple of things for you here. Squirrel Starter Boat, you could just search for it, by the way. Squirrel Starter Boat and Squirrel Starter Boat-Hull. This is the hull version of this boat. This is what we're going to use in the next video to build this. If you just want to get this for now, just go and subscribe to it, and it will then appear in your game. While you're here, you might want to get the hull. Go and sub to that as well. And then when you go back in the game, you'll be able to load these things in. So let's take a look at that now. Okay, so back in the game, whichever base you decided to go for. I've gone for this little one here. You want to jump in, and your missions may be different to mine. So it does randomly generate the missions. You may get different missions. If you get a mission that you don't like the look of, like it's move cargo or something rather than passengers, what you can do is just run back up to your starter home there. There'll be a bed. You click on the bed and go to sleep. That will accelerate days and nights, and new missions will come. These will expire, obviously, but you'll get new missions that you can then take. So if you don't like the missions, you just go to sleep and you'll get new ones. Go to your workbench. Sorry, I should really teach the keys. If you look at it, it tells you the keys E and Q. Just press E. That will take you into this workbench, which can seem a little bit daunting at first. It's like, what the heck is this? Okay, let's take this one step at a time. I don't want to show you completely how to use the editor, but I just want to show you how to load things in. Over on the right here, you probably want to have camera settings on free mode. So click that and put it on free mode. That will let you use the W, A, S, and D keys, and also Q and E. And if you hold the right mouse button down and press W, A, S, and D, you can fly around like this. Use the right mouse button to focus on things, okay? That's the basics of how to look around. Go up to the top here, click on load, and then go to workshop, and you should see my vehicles here. So if you click the starter boat, that will load the boat that we're going to use. If you click on the hull, you can see this is the empty version. There's nothing inside of here. No propellers on the back. This is the empty version that we're going to use in the next video, and I'll show you how to build the boat up and how to get the systems up and running and tuned and that kind of thing. So you'll learn a lot from that video about how to build a vehicle. But for now, just click on load this boat up, and then on the top here you want to click on spawn. That will then drop the boat into the water. Now, because I didn't tick advanced fueling, this boat will be fully loaded with fuel. If you did tick advanced fueling, you'll have to go and grab that hose over there, which has got 9,500 litres of fuel in it, connect it to that connector point there, and start fueling the boat. There is a display there that will tell you how much fuel in, but you can see right now it's got almost 1,500 litres of fuel in it. So hopefully you didn't tick advance, but if you did, just load the fuel up first. Right, so what do? Press the spacebar key and jump in. Remember, I pressed the N key to click on the missions, and I already tracked the mission. So I can see, if I look at it, the rig workers are 5 kilometers away, and the rig is 10 kilometers away. So we're going to go and get the rig workers first. So what you do is walk over to the seat and press F to get into the seat, like that. I'll teach you how to drive this boat because that's the main thing you need to know initially. You can look around with the mouse, obviously, and down on the left here it will show you the engine RPS. That's the rotations per second. That's how quickly the engine is turning. Maximum that you want a diesel to go is about 20. Luckily, I've limited the diesel to 20 RPS, so you won't need to worry about that. It won't blow up. But equally, the quicker it goes, the faster we'll go, but also the more fuel will burn. So you can keep your eye on the fuel over here, so that's not a problem. Right, there's a couple of things. The throttle and the clutch. We can fire up the engine and use the throttle to get the engine running, and then bring the clutch in to engage the propeller. On the bottom left, it tells us what the keys are. So A and D will control the rudder. So if I press the tab key, that puts me into external camera, and I can use the mouse wheel to zoom. If I just drop underwater, and you can vaguely see the rudder, if I press A and D, it won't do anything because there's no system power going to the engine. If I come down here and throw the main breaker, that, if you remember when I showed you before, powers all the systems. So now the battery is connected to all the systems. Press the tab key again, go underwater and press A and D. You can see that the rudder is now moving when I press A and D. That is obviously draining the battery, so don't spend all day doing that. When the engine fires up, I've got a generator, it'll charge the battery up. So let's do that. There's a start button here, but what we need to do is give it a little bit of throttle. So on your arrow keys, up, down, left, right, just press the up arrow key and just bring it up to like 0.2, about 20%, then press the start button. You see how it capped out at 20 RPS, so we'll just bring that down. Maybe like 10%. Sounds like a lawnmower, doesn't it? The engine audio in this game it probably needs improving. This isn't, as at bottom left though, it says early access build. This game is in early access. It's very much in alpha. It's heavily under development. The developers are building out the mission scripting now so that the missions will be a lot more fun, interesting and challenging. That's one of the things they're working on, but this game is constantly changing. Luckily, they have a Discord, they post news on the Steam page every week, and the game changes very, very frequently. So if you want to get into this game, just be prepared for a ride because things are changing. Anyway, we've got the engine running, so there's a couple of other buttons here. Display lights, which puts the display lights on, which is very useful because if you look at the top right there, you can see we're about to go into nighttime hours. And the other one is the lighting, which if I press the tab key, you'll see has put these lights on. So I've got 2 front board lights and 2 inboard lights. They're not spotlights, they don't go that far, but they're a bit of a godsend at night. So that's it really, starter, brake and the lights, we can leave all that turned on. The engine RPS is good. If we go external now, You can see there's the engine system. We got external camera. Oh, we can't because we've backed up. Alright, let's just move forward before we crash this thing. So I'm going to bring the throttle up to about 40% like that. And then what I'm going to do is, if you look bottom right, W and S is clutch. So I'm going to press the W key, which will gradually engage the clutch and start to give us some forward momentum from the propeller. I'm going to steer left. There you go. So I'm steering left with the A key. And we're going to slowly start to move forward. Let's give it a bit more clutch. A bit more throttle. We're kind of rubbing on the side of the yard here. As you give it more clutch, you will need to give it more throttle. Oh boy. Mayday! Okay, there we go. We're out of there. Right, so we're on full clutch and full throttle now, and you can see we're now moving. Now, depending on how rough your seat is, you may be making better progress than me right now. The way this is currently geared, we've got the waves kind of behind us, so we're getting a little bit of a nudge, but they're also coming in from the side, which is going to upset the boat. But it does appear to be calming down as the sun sets. Now, there is a high gear on this and a reverse gear. Bottom left again, you engage the high gear by pressing the number 1 key. So if I press the number 1 key, engages the high gear. What does that do? It's a bit like a gear on your bike. It moves into a higher gear, which lowers the engine RPS. We're not going as quickly, but we are going to burn a lot less fuel. Like, a lot less fuel. But for now, I want speed. Oops. For now, I want speed, so I'm going to turn off the gear. And just leave it in low gear. If you want to get rid of that tooltip, by the way, just press the H key. I'll get rid of that. So anyway, press the tab key first to third person, and then mouse wheel, and you can zoom in and out. And just keep the boat pointing in the right direction. If you go underwater, you can actually see the propellers are doing stuff. And the rudders and that kind of thing. I'll briefly talk about the boat. Underneath there are 2 vents there. One is in, one is out. They're fluid ports, as they're called. That's taking water from the sea and using it to cool the engine. That's how that's working. So it's drawing the water in on the left, cooling the engine, and pushing the water out on the right, which is why I've got the bubbles on the right. Up on the top at the back here, this is the air intake. So that's where the engine gets its fresh air for oxygen to burn. And then down the bottom in the middle, you can see I've put the exhaust port, which is spewing out the exhaust slightly into the sea. The basic systems you need for a diesel engine are the air intake, the exhaust, cooling, which is usually from the water in the case of a boat. In the case of a plane and stuff, you'll use radiators, and then the fuel. Once you've got all those things, you've got the basic ingredients you need to combust, and everything else is just to do with managing the gearbox and managing the RPM, and that kind of thing. Well, you know, I can take you through all that stuff later. So for now, really what you do is just point the boat in the right direction, head towards the rig, and make sure that you've got enough fuel. But you should have enough fuel for this mission. It can go quite far with 1,500 litres. But it can take a bit of time to get there. While we're doing that, the research is obviously going to progress. So that will continue, and I'll pick it up when we get near to the island. Now, as you can see, it took a while to get here, and indeed it is the middle of the night. It's quite pretty though, doesn't it? It's a clear sky, you can see the lighthouse in the distance. And these guys are actually on an island. I'm just going to have to pull up the boat without damaging it and go and grab the guys and then bring them back to the boat. There's no actual dockyard, I don't think, on this island. So what I'll probably do is we'll just slow it down a little bit. And just leave it here somewhere. Try and turn it around, make it a little bit easier. Okay, let's get the bottle back. There we go. Right, now I don't have an anchor at the moment on this boat, so we're just going to have to leave it bobbing around. So press the F key, and we'll leave the lights on and the engine running and hope this thing doesn't just disappear on us. Now press the V key, we'll give you a torch, and we should be able to jump onto the island. Now, be careful when you're jumping around, because if you jump too far, you can injure yourself. If you've got the player damage turned on, you can do yourself an injury. But we just need to run over to these guys. They're 100 meters away. They're inside a little hut, I think. This actual island is... I think it's got an airport on it, and I think that's where they are. Yeah, there you go. They're on a big airport. So if you had a plane, you could come and get them via a plane, but since we've only got a boat, we're just going to have to make do. But there's no dockyard here. So what we can do is we can tell them to follow us. We press E to open the door, and if we press E once, they will follow us. We can pick them up by holding them, but if you just tap E on each of them, they will follow you around. Now just be slightly careful, because if you jump too far and injure yourself, they won't do the same. They won't follow you everywhere you go. If you cause yourself injury, they'll just stand still and look at you like you're stupid. So every now and again, just glance back and make sure they're still following you. Now we need to find the boat. I think it's down here. There it is. Let's go this way, because that's quite a large drop there. Okay, they're still following. So this is one of the reasons why I only have 6 hours of nighttime, because you've only got a little torch, or a flashlight if you're American, and it's not the best. So at nighttime things can be tricky, although you might like that. Right, we'll tap E, and tap E, so none of them should be following. Now I'm going to hold E. That's going to pick them up. Go over to the boat, press the F key to access the ladder, climb up, and then hold E. That'll place them there. This is how we rescue people. Hold E. And when we get helicopters and stuff, we can get harnesses and winch people up that way. And that's where it really gets fun in multiplayer, because in multiplayer, one of you can be piloting the helicopter, somebody else can be operating the winch, somebody else can be on the ground, like recovering people. It can be a lot of fun in multiplayer. They did release a dedicated server a few weeks ago. It's not the best thing in the world. It's a little bit glitchy. It's its first version of it. So it's not the best thing in the world, but it's a good start. I just hope that they'll improve that. Right, 6k. Let's throttle her up. Or not. Okay. And that's that. We've rescued 3 workers. We've just got to take them to the right place now. Now, if they die or don't make it, any one of them will fail the mission. We have to get all 3 of them intact to the drop-off point for this mission to count. Just as we're going into sunrise. Right, I shall see you when we get there. Well, we're almost here. I mean, the game itself at the start is a little bit tricky. We've got the smallest engine with the smallest propellers. There's not a lot we can do. It will just take time to get around. Things get a lot easier later when you can get bigger engines, more powerful engines, and especially, you know, get around, especially when you get to helicopters. I mean, that's got a helipad on it. Look at it. You just got to work out where to go. There's also a loading crane, if you notice on this thing, for missions later on that you can do. Where you've got to deliver cargo and hoist it up there. They're kind of fun. I'm just trying to work out where we need to go here. I think we need to go up that ladder. See it in the middle of the arm? I don't think there's anywhere else. So this is going to be interesting, trying to unload these guys. Slow it down. It looks like there's only one ladder out of here. So, again, at the moment we don't have any access to anchors and stuff, which means I can't actually hoist this thing. Can't attach it to anything. So let's just put it to here and kill the engine. Okay, right. So we'll hold E, pick this person up. Don't try and get them to follow you in the water and up ladders, they won't do it. You'll have to pick them up and do it this way. Oh boy. You can imagine at night with the sea bouncing around and no visibility, you can imagine how tricky these things can be. So I'm going to basically tell this person to just stand there for a second. I'm going to go and get these 2. Sorry if the camera's bouncing around a lot. It does happen at sea. Now, people often say, oh, is this game like Minecraft, or is this game like Stormworks, Scrap Mechanic, or is this game like Roblox? I think they say that because of the blocky nature of the game, but the truth is that it's probably more like Scrap Mechanic than any of them. In Scrap Mechanic, you know, you use motorized systems. It's a bit like Lego Technics, I suppose. You use motorized systems to do things. The big difference between this game and the other games is that this game presents you with challenges and says to you, right, how are you gonna solve these problems? That's where the beauty of this game really comes in, is it gives you something to do rather than just, you know, go into creative mode and make cool looking planes, which is fine. This game gives you a reason to do things. It says, well, you need to solve these problems, you need to move these people around, you need to rescue these people, you need to go and move these things up to here, and that kind of thing. Why is it not tracking it? There it is. Stop tracking it for some reason. That's the big difference, is it gives you a reason to make things. And I like that. Oh look, so research just came in. Mission just came in. So we can stop following. We just had to drag them to here. I thought we had to take them up to a room. Stop following me. Stop it. I'm not your friend anymore. I'm not your friend either. There we go. Let's have a look at the research tree. So we're 4 minutes away from researching that thing, but we got some money and we got some research points, so we can spend a bit more points next time and unlock something cool. Now, how do you get back to your starter point? Well, you could drive all the way back. That's one option. If you had teleport vehicles and stuff turned on, what you can do is you can click on this, take it to the workbench, and that will take you back to wherever the vehicle was made. It will go back to the workbench where you made it, which, considering we only have one workbench, is here. And if you want to despawn this vehicle overnight, we can press the R key, and it'll bring it back in the workbench. Press exit so we don't spawn it again. That's the vehicle gone. And now what you could do is, if you don't want to play at night time, you want to sleep through the night time, you can do. You can just run up here, or wherever you spawned, go back to wherever the bed is, and go to sleep. I'll show you how to do that briefly. So you press F to get in bed, and you press Z, and then when you want to wake up, you press wake up. Research complete on the sensors. So what we can do is, before you go back to sleep, go back into the research and sell it to learn something else, because when you're sleeping, you're still researching. It doesn't make a great deal of sense, but you can use it to your advantage. So we've got advanced sensors now, because we did sensors, we've got advanced sensors, which I'm not going to use initially. Basic mechanics will give us some of these tracks and pivots. These are moving objects, so if we want to have things turn, lift, slide, that's what we need all this stuff for. They're 10 points, so that would use all of the points. Buttons are very useful, and we've got some basic buttons at the moment. These are some slightly more advanced ones. Decorations we don't care about. Displays are always good. The gauge display is good for seeing how much fuel is in your tank. Doors, they're useful later. Electrics will give us an electric relay, a medium-sized battery, and it will give us a medium motor and a generator. So you can make hybrid vehicles in this game. You could use a diesel engine to generate, to turn the generator, then use the electrical power from that to power the motors. So that's basically like a hybrid, the way hybrid works. You can do that. That's one option. Or we can go down the helicopter route and start working on getting ourselves the ability to make helicopters, which is always very useful, but it's 15 points, so out of our reach slightly. Large boats would give us access to shipping, which you can see brings in like giant propellers and that kind of thing. Navigation obviously gives you artificial horizon, compass, clock, always useful on any vessel. Radar and sonar. Rescue equipment will unlock a bunch more missions for us. Rather than just moving people and packages around, if we get this, the game will start to generate things where we go diving, which can be good for getting more points later, and then weather sensors. So, you know, navigation's a strong option. Large boats, I'd say not yet. Helicopters would be great, but a little bit too early for us, I think. So probably go down the navigation route, so we kick that off. And that'll start researching. So now if we go to sleep, now bear in mind I've got a mission here that ends in 14 minutes. This requires somebody to be moved in 14 minutes time. That's not going to happen. So when we go to sleep now, that mission will expire. So we click on Z. That was the lightning I was talking about. So if you press the tab key and go external, you can see what's going on outside, you see? There you go. So the mission failed. Transfer a fisher person so we can get out of bed. And if you have a look, the research tree, you can see that's gone a little bit further along the line. And missions, that one has been failed. So we can just get rid of that. Well, can get rid of that. I can't remember how, actually. But, you know, that's basically the overview of Stormworks. That's absolutely, like, 1% of what you can do in this game. Scratching the surface. We can create some super awesome vehicles in this game. And the devs are working on the mission system to make them entirely scriptable, so that you and I will be able to make scriptable missions ourselves for other people to enjoy. And also make them a lot more difficult, much more complicated trigger conditions. The future is bright, I think, for this game. It's not without issues. Multiplayer, the winching system, the way it works, and the pipe connections are a bit dodgy. But again, they're working on that right now. That should be updated within a week or two, I think. There's a lot going for this game, but it is early access. So just bear that in mind if you decide to go for it. Anyway, if you enjoyed the intro video, please give me a thumbs up. In the next video, I'm going to show you how I made that boat. I'm going to take you from the hull and we'll build it out together, and I'll explain the systems and the editor so that you can, you know, that'll set you up to make your own creations. That's it for now. Take care, guys. Happy building.